Alrighty, welcome to Bobby's BQ review session. Now, I've just got myself a new Weber Q, 2200 Q model. So it's below the family Q and above the baby Q. It's a model above the standard 2200, and the 2200 is the new replacement for the 220 model or 220 model Q. Last couple of years they've replaced that, I believe, and just fine-tuned it. Now, as you can see, it's the black limited edition black model, and I've like, the only reason I got the black one is because of the fact that I don't know, just beige doesn't sit well with me. Ultimately, it comes down to preference, I guess, and I from what I hear, they're coming out with other colors, just like some of the rivals here in Australia. It's a beautiful sunny afternoon, late afternoon here in Melbourne, Australia, and I got a pretty decent package deal. 3 weeks before Christmas. I can't complain on the fact that there aren't any specials available, but I still brought it down with the package, and I got the essentials or the necessities required to run this baby. Got my portable cart. I wanted the portable so I can collapse it and move it around wherever I need to. I can take it with me, collapses nicely, as well as the cover just for the Q itself. And can't go wrong without the hot plate, or probably would be going wrong without the hot plate. So as you can see, I'm already getting into the spirit because I've had a couple, but now it's time for grilling and opening these bad boys up, or the bad boy and the rest of the company accessories. So let's see how we go. So let's open these bad boy up. Now, like I was saying, let's move this stuff aside. I chose the black one just because of the fact the beige didn't sit with me well. Now, 2 reasons why they do beige, or at least one from my recollection, is make it look large. Well, 2 reasons: make it look larger, and considering it's such a compact model, and the whole point about it is advertising the portability. You sit there and you look at the fact that, well, you've got a point. So let's make it look larger by having the lighter color, because that's what everyone says. At least that's what my girlfriend said. Make it look larger, and that way you've got something that doesn't look so small, even though they advertise it as being small. So it's a little bit hypocritical if that's the reason. The other reason is, as a barbecue, it gets hot, so a lighter color generally reflects any of that heat from the light coming through, because you know we're all barbecuing with weather. So if it's out in the elements, then it's going to restrain that heat from penetrating in and making it overly hot. But with that said, that's why I've got a gorge anyway, so it shouldn't be an issue. Okay, so we've opened her up, and as you can see, we've got in actual fact, I will grab the. So we've got her opened up, sitting in there. I don't know how the sun's acting, so let's move into the shade. I can already smell the grilling. So I'm going to have to open her. Along with that, I'll go through the process of getting out all these other necessities, such as your good old cover, your cart, and the hot plate. And don't mind the dog kennel. The dog's not around at the moment, so pities are tiresome little creatures. So it's that time of arvo. The sun's going down. Of course, emergencies rise, which cause time to take precedence, and as a result take me off my agenda, which is the review of the barbecue, which I'm doing. So Bobby's BQ review of the 2200 Weber Q. She's now all assembled. She's warming up. As you can see, I'm going to close that lid quickly. Well, the burner's working fine. Gave the grill plates a little bit of a touch up as recommended. We're going to drop her down. I'm just trying to get her up around the 200 degree mark. As you can see, thermometer's working great. So she's about 200 now. So I'm going to try to wrap this up so we can get those 5 cutlets I've had marinating for the last couple of hours ready to go. Now there's a few little things. You can see the Weber tray in there. It comes standard with the barbecue. With that said, honestly, you probably don't need those, but if you can get a good deal and you do the price comparison to your local supermarkets, then it may be worth it, because they do sit in there snugly. But honestly, I think I've seen a few of those foil trays just in the deli alone, which I work in. Weber, bang. Okay, so she's assembled and she's bought for the purpose of portability. So as you can see, you've got your portable cart all set up. You've got little flaps coming out. Obviously she looks a little bit more streamlined when you close her up. On top of that, I've got my hot plate there. I don't need it today. Got my little cover there. Got a little skewer rack, which surprisingly, if my feelings are correct, will fit. Let's just have a look. Will fit nicely on top of that, and then I can put my skewers on there, which will give me a nice cook. Essentially, you know, the grill's there for a reason, and that's to cook those skewers. But with that said, say I've got the hot plate on, and as a result I've got some other burgers or whatever might be cooking on the other side, some steaks or something, giving it a nice grill pattern, then that will elevate it and cook it a little bit more elevated and give that nice even sort of feeling to it, rotate around like a kebab should. Now, you know, 3 types of kebabs nowadays, so what are we talking about? We're talking about kebab skewers. We're not talking about your souvlaki kebab from the Lebanese place with your Turkish bread, and we're not talking about any other form of kebab that might be out there. So with that said, I'm going to get these 5 cutlets. Just to rehash quickly before I do, she's black, limited edition. I already love her. Just burning out the flaws in her. Obviously any chemicals were just sitting on that stuff. Gave her a bit of a wipe down on top of that. The reason I chose black was because I didn't like the beige. The beige brings out the largeness of something that's meant to be streamlined and small. For portability reasons, black minimizes the impact of something that's taking up space. We all know that. Ask your girl from Gutting Fashion. That's a little bit sexist, I know, but that's just me. With that said, limited edition black, couldn't go wrong. Got it for $6.99, the whole package. Australian dollars, remember. Bit of a discount on retail price, but with that said, you have to think about it logically. It's 2 or 3 weeks before Christmas. You can't sit there and debate certain things when they have 2 or 3 of these puppies left in their store as an independent. So getting that deal was great, considering the other alternative was your Ziegler, and your Ziegler had 1 or 2 extra items on the pound by pound basis, and those extra items were a couple of sets of tongs and a convection tray. So you want to pay an extra $100 for a couple of sets of a set of tongs, I beg your pardon, you know, and a convection tray? I don't think so when I've got the Weber, and the Ziegler is ultimately based upon the Weber. Anyway, so let's go get these 5 cutlets, people, burning. So we got these 5 cutlets, skin on, bone in. Have never cooked with this baby before. We're going to unleash this, and then I'm going to get marinade all over my phone, because I don't use it to socialise. I just use it to do shit with, productive shit, you know. You know those old school days when you had like, you know, like a GPS tracker and a pedometer and all those sort of things. Well, they all come with the phone now, and I can make calls with it. So it's bloody unbelievable. Anyway, so I'm just doing this just for show. It was really, I really don't care. I just want to chuck these on and hear the sizzle. So let's see what happens. What I'm thinking is, if I'm careful enough, you have to remember, I'm using a goddamn phone and I don't have a stand. If I'm talking about the shit in an old school way, that's what we're talking about. So we're going to drop that. We're just going to pop these on there. So I'm going to pause it for a second. Popped all these on. You can hear that sizzle, Jesus. So we got them burning. Just chucked them on there. A bit of flame going. I don't know what I'm doing. It's that time of night where on my day off, I've had a couple. It's getting there. You know, emergencies flying. Stuff's taking longer. You can see that stuff's dripping down on the burners themselves. I'll definitely need to take care of that at some stage. From my understanding, you know, every 3 or 4 cooks, Weber recommends maintenance of your burners by giving them good burnout. You know, if you need a little pin needles or, you know, safety pins or something, just through the holes to make sure they're burning right. But you can hear that sizzling away. I've turned it down a little bit, waiting for that residual heat to escape. So, but then I can just give it a bit of a close, just increase the cooking temperature all around it, let it suffocate through the heat, but at the same time use less gas as a result and have the temperature of it rise quicker and cook through more thoroughly and more efficiently. So it's still going to give me that grill Smoky Joe sort of flavour which I'm after. But with that said, let's come back to it in 5-10 minutes and see how we're going. In 5 and in 10, as I should be done by then. Chicken cutlets. Yummy, yummy. So let's have a look at where we're at. Now, ideally, I'm going to open this puppy up. Ideally, I wouldn't be cooking these like so and continuously opening and closing them. I'd flip them over once, put them on the skin side down at the end and give it a bit of a crisp up. You can see it's got those nice grill marks that we all love. With that said, I'm going to have to flip it over again because I do keep opening and closing it. It's the first cook I've ever done on the Weber. I've got my plate, a full-size plate, mind you. We're going to see how those Australian standard flaps on the side there hold up with over 1 kilo of chicken on top of that plate. But with that in mind, like I said, backtracking, we've got these puppies on there. I'm going to flip them over a couple more times, make sure they're done so that we're not eating raw chicken, salmonella, yum, no. And from the learning curve process, a couple more cooks and I know exactly how this puppy operates. Weber Q, 2200. Let's close the lid down, finish this puppy off. Gonna flip her over a couple more times, take them off, and they'll be done. They're not burgers, I know, they're chicken. So this food's ready pretty much. I'm just giving you 5 cutlets, 10 minutes. Just giving you a little bit of an indicator on that fat trap right there. That's all the juices that come out of chicken. Now people are going to say that's the good stuff. Is it the good stuff? I don't know. That seems like oil. Omega-3s, fatty acids from your fish, great. Omega-6s, fatty acids from chicken and poultry, awesome as well. Not as good as the 3s, but just as required by the human body. With that said, have a look at that. That's a grease tray. That's just 5 cutlets there. I'm going to flip these puppies over and they're done. Like I said, it's overkill. Mum always taught me to cook meat so that it's overdone. So that's how I roll. That one is not so good. I think there's a little bit of a issue regarding that. You have to remember it's a learning process, but the burners themselves, had I left it closed up properly, would have given me the look I was wanting. I'm going to pause this for a second. So unfortunately, I was hit and miss affair on the first attempt. I'm going to take these puppies off in a second, make sure they're well done because I've been playing around with the temperature, seeing how it's burning. You can see that ultimately the one in this position here looks great. It's got the skin on it. That's how I want my salmon done. You know, nice and crispy on that skin. Underneath, tender. Hopefully it's penetrated through. I don't want to be totally, pardon the pun, pedantic about checking the temperature of this chicken. It's just a 5 cutlet after all. Lost the skin on this one, it's a bit stick to it. But that's just more the fact that, like I said, cooking these skin side up and then crisping it up at the end with the oil leaching down. As you can see, the oil's been leaching down, and then using that skin on top of that grill after the oil has coated that part of the grill itself would have given me probably a more professional finish. I tell you what, they smell tasty and I reckon they're going to be pretty tasty. So peace out peeps. Going to take these out, show you one more photo at the end, and we're done. And then I'll give you my comments as well. But honestly, I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed setting it up. I can see the potential in it. We'll see how it cooks in the next month or two. Peace. Bobby's BQ review done. Home ways on, but where were we? Our fried cutlets, they're done. Now, being brutally honest, look a bit ratty, but in my defense, you can see that steam just sizzling off them. They're still cooking a little bit, obviously. You know, let that meat rest. Regardless, you always should let the meat rest at least half the time it took to cook it. In theory, I overcooked it, but that's fine. It's a learning curve with this puppy. It's got some residue left on top there. Heaps of oil in that pan. I'm not going to take it out just yet, but you can see all that oil that's coming off it. It's not to say that those good fatty acids on the chicken like it would be with the fish, and there are other ways to cook the fish recommended by Weber and by chefs alone that will contain that good fat but maintain that flavor and make sure it's cooked through thoroughly but not overcooked. So yeah, fried cutlets, extra gristle, or what we call them, southern style, extra, that good stuff. Home and away in the background. And on top of that, I need to go to my television in my room and watch some RBT. Peace out, because I need to learn how to drink and drive.